What is up, fam? Welcome back to another episode of Rockin' with Ricky. Everybody has the flu edition, myself included. Whole family's out for the count. We've all got the flu. So tonight we're going to be making a Mexican chicken and rice soup that will hopefully give everybody some life again. I know it's been a minute since I filmed an episode. We've had a lot going on over here. First of all, I got bit by a dog, which was fine, but that resulted in a bacterial infection that put me in the hospital on antibiotics. Once that cleared up, we went to Disneyland for spring break, and now everybody has the flu. Good times. First thing we're going to want to do is cook up a couple chicken breasts. So we're going to make this real simple. A little olive oil. Rub that in both sides. We're going to do a little garlic salt. This is not open. Told you I was sick. Whole family's got the flu. All right, fix that. Little garlic salt. Little pepper. Who would have thought that a dog bite almost took me out? Makes the flu seem relatively mild in comparison. We're going to throw that in the oven at 450 for 20-25 minutes. While that chicken's cooking, we're going to chop a medium-sized onion. I know this show is supposed to be about connecting with your partner sexually through food, but based on the fact that everybody in this house has the flu, I can pretty much guarantee that's not going to happen. I'd be down. Performance might suffer, but I'd do it. My knees hurt, I'm sore, and I'm achy, but I would do it. You know what I do think I could do? It's like, is it the Mormons that do the soaking? Where you just put it in and then don't move. And then somebody else like shakes the bed for you. I think I could handle that. My wife, on the other hand, when she's not feeling well, has like a proximity sensor. If I get too close, all the alarms go off. And then she's not going to be having it. Surprisingly, I am still horny. I know that sounds hard to believe because I do not feel good. But if the opportunity came up, I would do it. Chopping this onion is doing awful things to my already tender sinuses. You know, do the Mormons wear long dresses? Or is that the Amish I'm thinking of? I do think low-key that's kind of hot. Having everything covered, leaving basically everything up to the imagination. Woo! That is tough. Fuck. Something about having to flip up a long dress. It's kind of hot. I know the general consensus is it's always about lingerie, something skimpy, something revealing, but like, tell me if I'm wrong. Some of the hottest moments are like when she's wearing just like an old sweatshirt, like a big oversized hoodie and panties, and you leave it on. Just kind of pull them to the side. That's just as hot as edible underwear. We're gonna cook these onions down. Little olive oil, cook them over medium heat for 4 to 5 minutes, stirring often. Put like 2 tablespoons worth of olive oil. Let that oil get hot. Hydrate. What were we talking about? Doing it with an oversized sweatshirt on? That works for me. We're just gonna cook these onions till they're soft. We'll go ahead and add some salt and pepper to the onions. 1/4 teaspoon or so of salt. Let's go ahead and get a soup pot. That's perfect right there. Just some soft browned onions. Throw those in the pot. Now we're gonna add 6 cups of chicken stock. After we add the chicken broth in, we're gonna do a whole can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. So we got the chicken broth, the tomatoes. Now we're gonna do a 1/2 cup of uncooked rice. We need to get this boiling. Let's put it on a higher burner. Last ingredient, we'll add 1/8 of a teaspoon of dried oregano. And bring that up to a boil. If we weren't all sick, we would definitely be getting freaky tonight. All right, we got our chicken baked. We're gonna let that rest for 10 minutes while we bring this soup up to a boil. Okay, we got our soup boiling, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn that down and let it simmer for 20 minutes. While the soup is simmering, we break down and shred this chicken. That's still very hot. Let's let that cool a second. Sex is fun, and it's a big part of what this show is about. Connecting with your partner physically through food, meaning to use food prep as foreplay, doing something for your partner. But sex is not always in the cards, right? Sometimes everybody has the flu. What kinds of things do you do for your partner that don't lead to sex? That are just to provide comfort when maybe someone's not feeling great or they've had a rough day at work. Now, I'm not gonna lie. This soup is bomb, and if we didn't all have fevers, we would absolutely be getting freaky later just based on the soup alone. But it is nice sometimes to just take the load off of somebody when they're down and do something comforting, like provide a hot bowl of soup when they're not feeling well. I'm not feeling great either. In fact, I feel like dog shit. We don't want to shred the chicken too fine because I want it to be somewhat hearty, right? I like big chunks of chicken. My wife loves soup. I'm not a huge fan. She thinks soup can be a meal, and I think that's probably true when you're sick, but normally I think soup is more like an appetizer. I don't really get enough sustenance out of a bowl of soup to call it a meal. It's like you go to a restaurant, you order food, and then what do they say? Would you like soup or salad with that? Because soup is an accompaniment to a real meal. That's not to say that there isn't some amazing soups, this being one of them. But generally speaking, I like something a little heartier. This is a very easy meal to cook. You can even do it when you're dying of influenza. Between this and the dog bite, it's been a pretty hellish couple of weeks. We got that chicken shredded up. While that continues to cook, we'll prep some cilantro. This whole thing doesn't take longer than 45 minutes, start to finish. In fact, you could even save more time if you got one of those like fully cooked chickens, the rotisserie chickens at the grocery store. Then you could just shred it, little rotisserie. Let's go ahead and give our broth a taste. That's delicious. Let's get a little more salt. A little more pepper. You know, they say some people, cilantro tastes like soap. And supposedly that is genetic. And I have a hard time even imagining that because cilantro doesn't taste anything like soap. And it made me wonder, some people like to toss salad and some don't. Someone should do a study to see whether there's any correlation between how people feel about the taste of cilantro and whether or not they're willing to eat the booty like groceries. I'd fund that study. Now the cilantro, we're gonna put in the soup when we serve it. But you wanna chop it a little bit. The reason is because when you cut the cilantro, that's what releases all those fragrances and adds so much to the flavor. It's a lot like when you mow the lawn, right? And you smell that cut grass. Same grass has been there all week. Doesn't smell till you cut it. So what we're doing is we're releasing all those aromas. Not too much, just a little bit, just to release the fragrances. One of the things you're looking for is to get the rice softened up. Once that rice starts to soften up, you can go ahead and add all the chicken. While the soup continues to simmer for those last couple of minutes, I like to warm up some tortillas to serve with the soup, make it a little heartier. And the final important touch is the lime. A little vitamin C when you're not feeling good. And that is how you make Mexican chicken and rice soup when everyone is sick. Normally, this would be the part of the episode where I show you my wife eating the soup and getting a reaction out of her and then asking her if we're going to do it. And she's not getting on camera today. You're going to have to take my word for it. The soup is great. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next week.